Welcome back in. We're going to go over right away into the fertilizer crisis as well as 2013 being a very pivotal role in as well as in Ripple, as well as in Marshall Hayner, Block AI founder, CEO. And then he was working on Stellar in 2014 and Block AI 2014, 2015, 2015. Metallicus to the present day. He also started with the Dogecoin Foundation as well. But he helped produce Stellar and Doge. So why is this important? Because Marshall Hayner and Ripple Labs have something in common. 2013 September, okay, Ripple Labs, OpenCoin officially becomes Ripple. September 26, 2013. So 13 years later, in 2026, in September, they're calling for basically a food crisis. And what's that because of? Not because of fuel shortages, because of Iran being bombed and fuel and oil not being allowed to go around the world. But before I say that, he founded QuickCoin in 2013, Stellar and Dogecoin, Marshall Hayner. Okay, co-founding Metallicus. All right, and OpenCoin became Ripple Labs. Marshall Hayner founded QuickCoin in 2013. OpenCoin became Ripple Labs in 2013. So what does this have to do with the price of fertilizer and oil? Well, not a whole lot except for connections with numbers, because the elites love numbers. So leading fertilizer export companies worldwide: Morocco, China, Canada, United States, Saudi Arabia, Netherlands, Germany, Egypt, Belgium, Qatar, Israel, and Spain. Okay, at least Canada is on there. Okay, North America might not see as much as this crisis, but leading urea fertilizer exports by volume. Okay, let's just go into this with common sense. Look at this. China leads, so China won't have a problem. Russia leads, they won't have a problem. But Qatar, 12, Saudi Arabia, 11, and Egypt, 9. Let's take a closer look. What do these areas supply? Okay, at least China supplies India, Brazil, and Southeast Asia. Russia supplies Europe and Latin America. Qatar supplies South Asia and Africa, parts of Africa. Saudi Arabia supplies South Asia, Pacific, and Africa. Okay, how many people are living in this area? Remember, there's 8 billion people living on the planet, and most of them live in Asia. And what does this have to do with the Oscars taking place tonight? Maybe not, nothing, maybe just a distraction. This guy is Lucifer they're holding up, by the way, and a little minion demon, actually, as well, but named Oscar. But basically, tonight, we're having the Oscars as well. And were they trying to distract us? Okay, there's some more about the Oscars. ABC. It's on ABC, but check this out. Does it say it here? Or right here? Yep, says it right here. The Academy Awards are voted on by over 11,000 industrial professionals. 11, remember, 11 is their famous number. And because they want to take over Christ's number as well as use it for the Antichrist. And the winners are determined through a secret ballot process. Secret. The ceremony will move to YouTube in 2029. 29 is an 11. And 11 plus 2 is 13. Back to 13. They love their 13s. They love their 11s. If you understand how to decode, you'll see that they put their signature hidden in plain sight everywhere. So while they're distracting you, if Jim Carrey will make it to the Oscars or why not, look at the picture they're using for him right there. It looks like the fake guy that came on the stage and thought he was a clone, but could have been another impersonator of him. Did they take Jim Carrey out because he was talking too boldly about the reality of life and the elites controlling it? List of awards and nominations received by Jim Carrey. Remember, his two initials are JC, and they hate JC. But in the Truman Show, he was trying to show us that we live under cyber surveillance system, and that when that show was over, they just said, "Oh, what else is on?" Because everyone else is not even reflecting on the truth. The reflectors caught up in the next dopamine fix by their screen. But look at all these awards, and he says, "I am nothing, I am no one," because you're truly one with God. And once you know your oneness with God, you realize your false ego, your altered ego, is just a mask. You play a role. You put on many hats if you're a parent, so you can realize you play many roles. You're not really stuck in any one thing. You're not a limited human being only to become one particular career path. You can do anything and everything because you're an unlimited, infinite potential being of light, a fractal, fragment of God, which is a fractal, meaning you are the whole in one. So again, in part one, I told you how they're telling everyone to get out of Iraq, plus a lot of other places. But look, if they want to build, Netanyahu wants to build a canal right through over to there, or a train tracks. They can get new supply chain going around the Straits of Hormuz. That's why they're focusing on the Straits of Hormuz right now, giving pressure around this area so then they can create problem, reaction, solution. More supply chain going through there. So look at that. That's a choke point, and that's a choke point there. If Saudi Arabia and Qatar cut down all their stuff, then all this area will not get fertilizer, and hopefully not anyone will have a problem with that. But the Club of Rome wants 25% of the population out of there. 2 billion out of 8. And if you don't believe me, believe some of this AI stuff. Club of Rome has been associated with long-standing concerns about overpopulation sustainability, particularly through its 1972 report. While the organization does not explicitly advocate for genocide of the population, some conspiracy theories and fringe sources claim it supports reducing the population by 2 billion. Did I just say that? I'm not making this stuff up. This, in its end 2026 publication, The End of Population Growth, the Club of Rome warns unmanaged population decline, not growth, can sustain public service and destabilize societies. So they're talking about population growth, and they need to call it. With 25% of the world's fertilizer being cut off now in May, September, we're going to have a shortage of crops, especially in the areas that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are used for: Southeast Asia, Asia Pacific, and Africa. They want 2 billion people out. So please stock up on some rice, maybe lentils, beans, spelt pasta. Spaceman 2.0. Hold on to God, and you'll be okay. Have a great day. And I'm out.